I am super excited to be working with Alabaster Company to introduce you to Alabaster Bibles. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell button so that you don't miss any more content. Be sure to keep the comments going in our discussions below. I have a lot of really cool things to show you guys today and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. So I am super excited to be working with Alabaster Company to introduce you to Alabaster Bibles. Alabaster was kind enough to send me 4 different Bibles to review for this video, and there are so many things that I want to tell you guys. Alabaster is a company that produces specially made Bibles. Most of us kind of know traditional Bibles looking a lot like this. All of the books are in one book, which makes the entire Bible. There are no pictures, you're just reading lots of text, lots of tiny words like over and over again. And that's pretty much it, right? Which is awesome. It's very important. It's great for when you're studying or you just kind of want everything with you because you're kind of going and working your way back and forth through the Bible, which is awesome. But Alabaster does something a little differently. And they take individual books of the Bible and make them into actual books, just like you would read any other book, like all of the many books that you see behind me. And they pair the text with imagery that helps you to basically understand and experience the stories that you're reading in a very unique way. They were kind enough to send me 4 to review for you guys. So we have a lot of our heavy hitters. We have Psalms, Proverbs, the Gospel of John, and the book of Romans, which I feel like at some point was like everyone's favorite book. Like, let's just be honest. Alabaster also has some amazing blogs as well as notebooks and specialized ebooks and readings that really place faith in context with not only beauty but creativity, and we're going to get into that a little bit because you guys know how I am, how passionate I am about art and creativity, and how equally passionate I am about faith. So we're going to talk about how all of those things go together and blend together in these books. So each Alabaster Bible uses the NLT, which is the New Living Translation. And so when you open a book, it has the book and the cover, which is an image from inside of the Bible. You'll see Alabaster as the title page, but it's basically an introduction that tells you a little bit about the book itself and some of the key values and themes that you'll be reading in this book that the designers pulled out when they were thinking about images to pair with the Bible and to create. And then chapter 1, and you start reading. And as you can see, the imagery is fully integrated with the text. So a lot of times text will be over images. Sometimes there's images just by themselves. Sometimes, which you'll see through most of the books, is that there's images on one side and text on the other. And it pretty much just goes this way. I'll show you guys up close and see how just beautiful that is. Even just like, I'm going to do that again for you guys. Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? This is the Gospel of John, if you're wondering what a gospel looks like. So beautiful, so artistic. Typically, when you read a passage or you read a story in the Bible, when you think about visuals, you pretty much have to do all of that in your head. And some of us are more imaginative than others. Some of us think more visually than others. So, you know, if you hear Christ say that he is the bread of life, you might actually see bread in your mind, or you may just be like, wow, that's interesting, and have no mental image of it, right? So I'm going to show you guys a couple of really popular kind of themes or situations that happen in the Gospel of John and what it looks like in an Alabaster Bible. So this is the text here. The Bible still has headings as you see in most Bibles. And then here is a simple image of a loaf of bread on a counter. In chapter 8 of the Gospel of John, we have the story of the woman who was caught in adultery. And the Pharisees came, there was a huge crowd. They brought the woman to Jesus. They were basically like, hey, this is a sin. She was caught in adultery. We need to stone her. What's supposed to happen now? And so when you read the story in the Alabaster Bible, you actually have a woman. But it's very creative. We don't necessarily see her face, so it doesn't, she can represent any woman to us, and she's actually holding a stone. And so that really puts into perspective and makes it more human and personal to us that this is a real woman who could be any of us. It helps us to visualize the idea of stoning itself. And it helps us to visualize even what Christ says to them about let the one who has never sinned throw the first stone. So all of those elements are seen visually here in this story, and we actually kind of can see it playing out a lot easier than we would in a traditional Bible. One more story that I'm going to show you from the Gospel of John is actually on page 50. This is when Jesus heals the blind man. We have a man here, and we have someone placing their hands over his eyes, just as Jesus did when he healed him. Some of the imagery doesn't always directly correlate to what we're reading, but what it does do is it gives you these beautiful, awe-inspiring images that help you to feel just as in awe of what you're looking at as what you're reading. So in many ways, the emotion that we get from viewing the picture is the same kind of emotion that we have in reading the text. Just for the fun of it, because I'm so excited, I'm actually going to show you all the page from my favorite psalm. Mine is 103, so it all fits on one page here. And then we have this lovely image of a bouquet of flowers. One of the things that's so exciting when you think about using Alabaster Bibles and actually reading them as a part of your study, or just whenever you have free time during the day, is that it makes the comprehension of each story so much easier. It's more digestible to read because you're using single pages or smaller blocks of text. And it also invites more organic reflection because you're picking up this book, and so your mind is automatically thinking, let me read this story as I would anything else. So I found myself just in reading them asking those questions and thinking a lot differently than I do when I'm reading in a traditional format. I'm actually doing the Proverbs challenge this month, where you read one chapter of Proverbs every day. And so this has been just really great to be able to, stop in the middle of work or during lunch or on a break and just have this book with me and not have to worry about having the rest of the Bible with me. Regardless of how many times you may have read the Bible or how seasoned you are, it's really a transformative experience. One of the main goals and values that Alabaster has is to make the Bible beautiful. So it's the idea that the words that we're reading and everything that God created is beautiful. Therefore, we should consume His Word in a format that reflects that. So, which bridges us to what I think is actually my favorite part of using Alabaster Bibles, and the most important part of this video, which is the idea of bridging our faith with our creativity. You all know how important art is to me. It's really important that as a community and as a society, we have forms of expression to not only respond to things that are happening into the world, but also to tap into that light that's within all of us, that aspect and reflection of God that we are. But the thing that's really interesting about art is that it's known for art is bold, art is progressive, art is a way to think out of the box, and art is emotional, right? But a lot of times when we think about faith instantly kind of segues us many times into religion, which sometimes can kind of be the opposite of what we think art or creativity is. A lot of times we can see it as something that is more conservative in many senses. What I love so much about Alabaster is that it allows us to see God in His beauty and in His creativity, to see the world that He created as something that uses color, that uses unimaginable dimension and height and depth. God is innately creative. He created man, He created the earth. He created this word that we have to be able to understand Him more and to deepen our faith. And so us as human beings, it's so important that we understand that being made in God's image means that we are made as people who are creative. And the gospel is equally just as bold and progressive and emotional as those things that we create with our hands. And that's why I'm so honored to be working with them, because it is essentially a beautiful reflection of what I've always believed and felt, even in my own life, is that being close to God is also being close to the sides of us that create and that make beautiful things, that make things that are good. And that's what's so important. Your creativity is not something that's separate from your faith. And being able to consume the word in this way, not only is it just exciting for me and it's just fun, like I just want to keep reading it and reading it because the books are beautiful and the pages smell amazing and they're great. But it's made all of these stories, all of these words of wisdom more authentic, more human, honestly. And it's given me such a deeper appreciation of the word. And so I know even for myself, if it's been that transformative for me, I know it will be for the rest of you who have grown up reading the Bible in a traditional format, as well as those who might have been intimidated by it before, or just feels a little foreign when you pick it up. This definitely is not intimidating. It's extremely exciting, and it's just really great to just kind of digest one part of the Bible at a time. Or you're thinking about someone who you would like to introduce to the Bible, this is a fantastic way to do so. You have the option of choosing any one of these books or the entire collection when you shop at Alabaster. So the entire 4 Gospels as well as Romans are available from the New Testament, and then in the Old Testament you can purchase Genesis, Psalms, Proverbs, and Isaiah. And I'll have the links provided for you guys below so you can check them out. Go get an Alabaster Bible, hop back here, let me know what you think. As always, be sure to hit that little subscribe button, stay tuned. I'm going to have links below where you can follow Alabaster on social media as well. Take care, everyone. Much love, and I'll see you next time.